By the end of this video, you're going to know all about 3 ways to get AI to teach you stuff. Right. Firstly, how to get knowledge into your head. Facts. Okay, easy peasy lemon squeezy. You've probably done that before. The next level, however, is understanding something complicated, something that needs to be explained in a way that lets you understand it better. And the third is developing a skill, like you might want to learn how to play jazz, piano, or something like that. So this video is all about how to get AI to be your personal tutor. My name is Greg Martin. I'm a medical doctor. I live in Ireland. I love to teach AI skills. I always say to people, if you spend time learning AI, you'll get that time back again and again. At the end of the video, I'm going to demonstrate some of the features that I've been talking about during the video. So I'm going to bring you here and actually point you to some of my favorite language model features. So let's just deal with the first one first because it's easy. How to get AI to help you learn and understand and memorize just simple facts, nothing too complicated. Well, at the most basic level, you can simply ask it a question. It gives you an answer. Okay, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. It might be a little bit more than that. It might be that there's a whole sort of curriculum, a whole series of facts that you need to learn. And that's where things get a little bit more complicated, but AI to the rescue, there's lots of things that you can do. Firstly, you can take multiple sources, upload them into AI and ask it to extract the pertinent facts and get the facts that you want to learn all into one place in a format that you like, that makes it easier to learn. Secondly, you can ask it to quiz you, for example, and create quiz questions or flashcards, etc., etc. You can even make an app that you then put on your phone. I've got apps on my iPhone that I use, that I created using AI, that every day presents me with some facts, and then I click on it and it gives me a little bit of an explanation. So there's that. There are pre-made AIs like LM Notes that are very good for this sort of thing. You upload multiple documents, or you ask it to go and search the internet and find the documents. And then you can ask it to create quizzes, flashcards. You can ask it to create a little 2-person talking podcast that you can listen to when you drive. You can ask it for a little video overview or a PowerPoint deck. So there's lots of ways that it can package the information in such a way that it's easy for you to digest. When you ask it to, for example, create a little podcast on the subject matter, you can give it very specific instructions. So you can say, I would like this to be at this level of learning, or go into this kind of detail, or focus on this sort of subject matter. So you can be very specific about what it is or how it is that you want to learn. And I will give a little bit of a demonstration at the end of this video as to how to use a tool like that, but it's extremely powerful and you will absolutely love it if you're trying to just learn facts. Now, always remember, as I've said again and again and again, AIs can hallucinate. The information that it gives might be wrong, although it comes across sounding very confident. So you might want to include in your prompt for it never to guess. If it doesn't understand or know something, it must say so. If it's really technical information, you might want it to use the deep research feature. So most AIs now have deep research. And then it'll go away for 10 or 15 minutes and really find source documents and provide you information that is cited. There's a little clickable link and it'll take you to the source document itself. The next level of learning is you want to understand something that's complicated. So you're not trying to cram your brain full of facts necessarily, but there's a conceptual idea that you really need to get your head around. This is where AIs really are fantastic, because you can say, please explain this to me as an absolute beginner, and it will. If you still don't understand, you just simply say, I still don't understand, can you explain it in a different way? And it will. I mean, it is a really useful tool to use. And you could say, I'm at this level. I could say I'm a medical doctor and I really need to understand this at a more technical level, if it's a medical thing, and it'll kind of find your level of understanding and really build upon that. So that is a fantastic. You just need to be explicit and tell it what level you're at and what it is you don't understand, and you'll find the answers that it gives you are absolutely fantastic. But here's the real trick when it comes to understanding something. It's called the sort of Feynman rule or move. What you do is you say to the AI, let me explain this to you and you tell me where I've gotten it wrong or if I've understood this correctly. So you try in your own words to explain to the AI what it is that you understand about a particular thing, and it will really and in great detail look at what you've said and identify what it is that you've misunderstood Or perhaps you've understood it perfectly, happy days, boom shakalaka, then we're moving right along. And it'll give you great feedback, by the way. I've done this multiple times. If there's, for example, I'm very interested in statistics and research methods, and sometimes the best way for me to know what it is that I don't know is I try to explain it to the AI, and it gives me fantastic feedback. And I found that to be a marvelous trick. And the final way in which AI can help you learn is if you're wanting to learn a skill. And learning a skill is all about repetition, it's about practice, and it's about getting feedback. So, for example, if you're wanting to learn a new language, you can practice speaking to the AI, and most AIs have got like a microphone mode, and you can speak to it. It will give you very specific feedback. It might give you things to practice. It'll tell you what you're doing wrong, what you're doing right. It will iteratively increase your level of skill by giving you increasingly difficult things to practice. It's very good at taking you from a level to another skill level in a sort of very incremental, iterative way. So that, for a language or learning how to code, it's great at that. For something a little bit more sophisticated, like let's say you want to learn jazz piano, where you really need to be able to see where the notes are that you would push and know what that would sound like and know what a change in sort of chord structure might look like. You can ask the AI to build an app, or some of them have got, like Claude's got a thing called an artifact, or they're called different things in different AIs, and if you're not sure, you simply ask it, like in this particular AI, LLM, what would you call it if I needed you to build me something that I could see the, keys on a piano? It'll just tell you. But the point is, it will make that app for you. And, it might take a bit of back and forth. I'm not saying it's just in one shot, but it's actually not that difficult. I've done this. And you can then use that to learn something quite sophisticated. I've found the process of making apps fantastically useful. For my kids, I've made little apps that sit on my phone that teach them science, and it gamifies them. And if they answer a quiz question, they go to the next level and they get points and scores and all sorts of things. So using AI to help you learn is easy. You should ask the AI what is the best methodology for it to help you learn something, and it will tell you. And for some things, you need to stitch all three together. You need to learn facts, you need to understand something, but you also need to learn a skill. Under those circumstances, I would create a project or create a workspace within your AI. I would upload all of the source documents that are necessary, and then I would work with it to put in place structures to deal with all three levels of learning separately. If you explain what it is that the outcome that you're working toward, it will help you structure a learning process to get you there. Okay, now we've talked about the theory. Let me show you one or two examples of how this can all work. What I want to introduce you to is NotebookLM. This is a Google product. You can get to it from Gemini. So if you're in Gemini, you can go to NotebookLM down there. Or, of course, you can just go to notebooklm.google.com. It's free. You need an account, so you need to maybe log in with your Gmail account or whatever it is, but you're not paying anything for it. And it's an extremely powerful way to use AI to help you learn things. Okay, and let me just show you around a little bit. So the first thing you do is you create a notebook. I'm not going to create a new one now. I might come back and show you that in a second. But let's look at one that I've already made. So here we've got one on communicable disease. And you can see that on the left-hand side here, I have already included like a huge number of documents. There's about 68 documents here. Some of them are PDFs. Some of them are web pages. You can add YouTube URLs. You can add almost anything in there, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. And it will read and keep those in the context of the conversation you're about to have. Now, the first step is you want to just ask a question, and it gives suggested questions here, but you can ask any old question you want. Here it's got, what are the global economic impacts of emerging infectious disease? So you can click on that, or you can ask your own question. And it will then go away, look at the documents you've uploaded, and come back with an answer. Importantly, you can untick some of those boxes. So you might want to say, I just want you to look at these 5 documents to come up with an answer. So let's just give this a second and see what this comes up with. So here it gives you an answer to the question that you've asked, but importantly, okay, here it tells you where it got it from. So you can hover over the number 1, that's the sort of citation, and it gives you the text there, or click on it. Click on that, and it's going to take you to the source document and highlight the area of text that it used to generate the answer for that section of the answer, that little paragraph there. It used this section of text from that particular document, and then you can also click on the source document and go directly to it and look at the original. So you can confirm that what it is that the information you've gleaned is not an hallucination, but it actually comes from a reliable source that you've identified. But in terms of learning, the NotebookLM has lots and lots of other useful features. So, for example, if we thought that the answer that it gave there is excellent and we want to come back to that and be reminded of it, we can take this answer and we can save it to notes, right? And it's going to save it and it's going to generate a note there, and we can come back and look at that answer at any point in time, because of course we'll have multiple conversations here and we want to save and extract out the best ones. You can actually ask it to look at all the documents and create a table or do a comparison or do all sorts of things that you would ordinarily do with any usual language model. But here's where things get really powerful, and let me move myself out of the way here. You can see at the top on the right, there's all sorts of additional bells and whistles that you will find extremely useful if you're wanting to learn about the subject matter. You can ask it to create an audio overview, and that'll be, and I'll show you that in a second, that'll be like a little podcast conversation that summarizes the information, and it's very conversational, very easy to listen to. You can listen to it in the car as you drive, while you go for a walk. So really useful. You can ask for a slide deck, you can ask for a video overview, mind maps, flashcards, infographics, quizzes, data tables, reports. In other words, these features are absolutely brilliant if you're wanting to learn the information over a period of time. Let's look at one or two of them. Okay, so here's the audio overview that you can ask for.
Imagine you're just asleep in your bed, and sometime in the middle of the night, a tiny triatomine bug crawls out from like a crack in the wall, and it bites your face.
Ugh, always a terrifying thought.
Right. But the bite itself isn't actually what makes you sick. What makes you sick is that the bug defecates right next to the bite.
Okay, so you can see how it creates a little podcast that's quite conversational. You can give it parameters. So you can say, I want that audio overview to really look at, a particular disease or be at a certain level, and it'll do that. There's a little interactive button here, right? So while they're talking, you can stop them and ask a question, and they'll answer the question. Absolutely amazing. Great way to learn. You can also ask it to create a PowerPoint deck. So let's have a look at one that's created here. And let's make that bigger, and you can go through the deck and play that, boom shakalaka, and it'll do a lovely PowerPoint deck. And again, you can determine what style it's going to use, what kind of information it's going to have at, what level it's going to be, etc., etc. How about a quiz? So if we go down, we've asked it to create a quiz here, and we can make that big, and we can answer the questions, and it'll tell us if we're right or wrong, go to the next question, and so on and so forth. And if you get it wrong, it tells you what it is that you got wrong, etc. Again, an excellent learning tool. And there's so many more. You can create a video for you. There's almost no end to what you can do. I'll just show you, for example, if you go to video overview, I'm not going to create the whole video now because it takes a bit of time, but you get to decide. I want it to be an explainer. I want it to be brief. I want it to be in English. I want it to be a whiteboard, for example, and then you can give it very specific instructions as to what you want in that video. So NotebookLM is an absolute game changer when it comes to wanting to learn something new or learn information or get a sort of detailed knowledge, and then the repetition that's required to get the information into your head and so that you remember it. It's absolutely fantastic. I love it. I hope you find it useful. Definitely try it out. You will love it too. I hope you found that useful. In the next video, we're going to talk about how to use AI to manage large documents or collections of documents to summarize information and to get the most out of it in a way that is most useful to you. Click on the link on the screen that's right now. That'll take you through to the next video. I'll see you there. Remember, you can subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Click on the bell notification for notifications of future videos. Also, leave a comment below and I'll try and respond to that. Don't ever change, don't do drugs, always do your best. Boom shakalaka.